morning, everybody. Whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world, this is the Friday 13th version of Coast to Coast. What's happening, brother?
Scary. Very scary.
We're here, so it was bound to happen.
Hey, listen, I was watching a clip the other day of Friday the 13th, Jason in New York.
Okay.
Which was just as good as Jason in Outer Space.
Yeah, mostly dumb. No, I got what you're going.
So, with Friday the 13th here, it's just a perfect segue for that. So,
Yep. Most of them, outside of the first couple, you're just like, okay.
Exactly.
What's happening, Joe?
So, hey, it's yesterday I was watching Olympic hockey.
Yep.
And Team USA started off a little slow against Latvia, then came on really strong.
You know what's
Latvia 5-1.
What's crazy about U.S. hockey in general so far is they've scored 5 goals between the men and the women every single game.
Yes. I think that's the number. You get to 5 and then you stop shooting.
You just shut it down. You're like, okay, we're just going to play defense now.
Something like that. I mean, I don't know. I got to imagine that wasn't the case because with 30 seconds left, they were still putting pucks on the net.
Yeah.
But it's interesting.
You can't coast. You can score goals in a hurry, and so.
Well, and you need as many goals as possible because we are in the same same division as Canada.
Yeah.
So you want to get the number 1 seed. Canada also scored 5 goals. They let up no goals, however.
Yep.
So, and I've noticed that I feel like that Team USA is all brothers. We got the Hughes brothers, the Kachuk brothers. I think there's another set of brothers on there that just aren't as good.
That's funny. I didn't realize it.
Yeah, it's like the brothers USA. The other thing I was interested in, so when you're lying on your back and skating down that toboggan place, that you are a luge. When you're on your stomach, you're called a skeleton.
Correct.
And it's interesting to me, that when you can see it coming, you're a skeleton. When you can't see it, when you got to look up like this, you're a luge. I don't understand. Why is one?
Because if you hit anything head first, you die. So your skeleton is toast. Luge, at least you're going to blow your legs up, but you probably live through it.
Let's hope. Well, I don't even know. So,
I mean, I don't know if you want to live through it, but you probably do.
And I tell you, it's like for some reason or another, the Americans just cannot seem to get anywhere with these luges, or like I don't know where they have a luge park. Where do you learn how to luge?
I don't even know.
I mean,
man.
I guess
it's not something I've ever thought about until right this
second. Or maybe in the Alps somewhere in Utah. I guess there's got to be different houses for this.
I mean, I would anywhere that there's like bobsled test tracks. I imagine it's there, right? Because it's the same course.
Yeah, it's like it's interesting because you're watching these guys, and I was watching they have relay races now. Hey, you're about to go down, and just at the very end, you got to make sure to hit the paddle so that the next team can go. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like 1, and then it's 2. When you're watching the doubles luge,
that's
like
weird.
2 people in the luge, you have a really small person in the back and a very tall person in the front.
Yep.
And it looks like they got to connect themselves through, literally, it's weird. It's weird. So, I mean, I guess that wouldn't be so bad if you had a really big woman and a little small guy, because then that would like kind of mix. But yeah, and Joe, they are actually tied at the moment. I know that they have less golds, which really makes them in second place. But yes, Italy is doing very well
Yep.
right now, being the hosts and winning a lot of medals. They're not going to win a lot of medals in the major events. Like when it comes to like hockey, Italy's not going to fare well.
Yeah, yeah, they're not going to be there. Yeah.
So, but like in the skiing, I think all the skiing, Italy is always like right there and stuff. So, and the fact that this is their home course makes it a little bit better for them.
Well, that's always the case, right? Like the hosting country generally does better in that Olympics. Doesn't mean that they're going to win the medal count or anything like that, but they generally win more medals than when they're away. Like the host countries generally do pretty well.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that's kind of interesting. They hey, listen, and if you are a fugitive of the law, you do not want to go to the Olympics. A 16-year fugitive got arrested by going to the Olympics. I've been looking at this guy for 16 years.
Why would you go to a massive high profile thing if you're running from the law? Like that doesn't make any sense.
I don't know, but this guy was a 44-year-old guy. They've been looking for him for 16 years
Crazy.
for a series of thefts committed in 2010. You made it all this time. And it was in Italy. This is like this guy's from Slovakia. Why would you bother? I guess you made enough money. You could probably pay to go to the Olympics.
Yeah.
So, and then, you know what I find very funny? They show Snoop an awful lot. Like Snoop is like the face of the Winter Olympics for Team USA.
He's the face of everything right now. Like they try and get Snoop involved in literally everything. If he's at an event, they're filming him constantly.
And I find that listen, he's got my birthday, so I mean I'm all for it. We share a birthday, so.
I mean, maybe you think you'd get lost in the crowd. I don't know. There's a lot of cameras around an event like this. And not all those events have crazy amounts of fanfare around. Because a lot of the events during the Olympics happen at the same time. So, your crowds are kind of split between different events. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. If I was running, I would not be hanging out where I know there are tons of HD cameras all over the place.
Right, with facial recognition.
No, that's what I'm saying.
This is
yeah. Because he crip walked. No, we're not knocking Snoop at all. He's just everywhere all the time now.
No, and I think Joe was just kind of saying, like, hey, I don't like much, but I do like Snoop.
There you go.
So, but yeah, that was an interesting story that came out of the Olympics. Let's see what else is interesting.
Well, Brad actually brought one for you. Nick Castellanos released by the Phillies.
So I was going to stay on the Olympics until we get to baseball.
Okay.
Because I actually have some stuff to say about that. Okay. I am let's finish with the Olympics, because when I talk about the Phillies, I am gonna go address that a little bit. Yeah.
I didn't actually have much left of the Olympics on my end.
Say again.
I didn't actually have much else on the Olympics.
Yeah, there really isn't anything else other than these things are still falling apart. They're still having problems with the medals. They're like, yeah, you
Oh,
don't want to hold the medal like this and start shaking it because your ribbon will fall off.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, or jump up and down, the medal's falling. Exactly.
The ice dancing, it's like they should have gotten gold. They didn't because, listen, anything that's judged, they are going to judge much harsher for the Americans than they will every other country. That's a common thing. So anything that they got to get judged on, I suspect, is always going to be a fight,
Sure.
and that's where they have that. It's like they everybody was confused. It was like a perfect dance, and I'm not I didn't even see it. You know what I mean? But that's what it says. It says like, hey, had a perfect dance, and they should have won gold, but they only get silver.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's always those every Olympics where, the voting becomes some sort of debate and people aren't happy and whatever. I mean, that's every Olympics anyway.
right, and see, it's like the worst part about it is that there used to be the ice capades. So not only would you do this and then you'd win a medal, then you'd get to go on tour and everybody would get to see it with the ice capades.
Yeah.
Now they don't have that anymore. Now it's like Disney on Ice, which is okay, but it's not the same. You know what I mean? You're not getting to do your like you do this only for the Olympics and that's it. It's
The
always
French.
the French. It's always the French. Did it actually say that it was the French on here in this thing here?
We got a world record in the speed skate. That's cool.
Who did? Yes,
Uh,
yes, he did. He got the world. He got the Olympic record, not the world record.
or yeah, that's what he said. Olympic record. And he works at a speed skating clinic in Wisconsin. That's cool.
Yeah, he's a young kid too, so he's going to be one of those guys that does this all the time. And
They're going to investigate the French. That's funny.
well, I can believe that. It's like it's like the same thing that you find out with everybody who voted against Belichick for getting into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know, all that's done is created a situation where a coach is now one of the other coaches is not going to get into the Hall of Fame because you got to bring up Bill again.
Yeah.
So, and now he'll be unanimous getting into the Hall of Fame next year, anyway. So,
Probably.
I believe that, Rob. Like I said, this is the problem with having voters. Like
Yeah.
that really is the issue. It's like they like especially the French. The French are always pains in the ass. They don't like Americans and they don't care. They don't care who knows, who cares. Screw you.
Yeah.
So
Hey, at least they set the expectation so that, that's fine.
you know what it is? Here's the problem with the French. There's no place to bury anybody over there. So any farm that's there, that's where all these people are decaying, and you have to eat your relatives kind of through the vegetables and stuff. Makes them bitter. Makes them very, very angry all the time.
That is a weird take on it, but okay, here we go.
And that's all our Olympic talk for today.
Talk about making a weird turn. There we go.
There you go. That was one of those J turns. It wasn't even a J turn because that was a little bit more cerebral.
That was just yanking the wheel off the freeway right there. That was
exactly.
We do,
but you can't. You have to be a resident, a full-time resident of France to get buried in France. You can't. There's not any place to get buried. That's a real thing, actually. By the way.
That is, that is weird enough.
And that's why you don't get any vegetables from France.
What are you talking about? They're fertilized really well.
Yeah, I guess so. They're just a little bit more meaty over there, I guess.
That's right.
Oh yeah, this is falling apart quick.
Absolutely. We might as well get into Major League Baseball, though. Most teams have started to report at this point, and there are some moves, and Castellanos is one of those moves to start this thing out.
I tell you, I am really unhappy about the way that they're doing this.
Yeah.
It's like I understand it's $20 million, and I understand that there was a situation that occurred. You know, there's a piece of me. If Harper, who talked like an asshole to the commissioner, and got reprimanded for doing so, yet Castellanos gets kicked off the team because he was critical of the manager. And let me tell you, the manager deserves to get a little bit of criticism. He has done certain things that have created certain mistakes on a constant basis. And I love Nick Castellanos. I thought that he's one of the only guys that, even in being pissed off, even when the team was saying that he was disconnected from his teammates, that he was just not, he was signed off on this team, he was still hitting big hits in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that bothers me. He batted .260, which is, is that worth $100 million? No, not really. You want somebody better than that. He averaged 22 home runs. Yeah, you want to be above 25. He had, whatever. Listen, there were a lot of things that Nick bothered me with. Like, he would always be searching for that, curveball that he could never hit. Was just, always, but then he figured it out. Like, he's the guy who hits baseballs. That's what he came here to do. He came here to hit baseballs, and he got much better in the field.
Yeah.
When he was there. Literally in 22 had a couple of plays that literally saved us and brought us to the next round.
Yep.
He was the only one that would play every day until he got suspended for that one time because he brought a beer, like it's the 9th inning, and he was just pissed off that he got pulled. He didn't like getting pulled out of games. I understand. I get it. You don't like doing it. Yeah, should he have brought a beer in? Should he have quit on the team that day for getting pulled?
I mean, your day's done. The mountains are blue. Let's go.
Yeah, I think he said probably some critical things.
Sure.
He brought an El Presidente. It was definitely not a Coors Light. Interesting, because when he said El Presidente, I'm like, oh, he had a cigar? I thought that's what he was doing. He was going to smoke a cigar. And listen, when you got pulled out of the game, like if this was back in the 90s, they still did that. They put the beer in the cups and they were drinking out of the cups.
Yeah.
It was like you were done for the day. I'm going to have a beer. You know what I mean? That's the way it worked.
Especially for baseball, right? Because you can't come back in.
Right.
So, it's a wrap.
Yeah, so I'm really unhappy on how the Phillies did this. Like I said, he was one of my favorite players. And, it's a shame that he's not going to be here. I still look at him, whoever gets him this year, I will tell you that you are going to get something monstrous. I wouldn't be surprised if he winds up either in Washington, which is a possibility, because you could get him right now for $1 million. That they're eating the $20 million left on the contract. You're just going to eat it.
I mean, Seattle, let's go. Make a phone call.
Yeah, maybe, but who's your right fielder?
Let's see, who is our right fielder?
I don't know that Seattle's the place for him. Really, I'd consider it. You know what I mean? But I don't know that that's the right spot for him.
I think that, yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was Robles. Yeah.
You know, he needs to play every day.
Pretty sure that's our starter is Robles.
He needs to play every day. And I think that you're going to get a man possessed. You're going to get somebody who's going to hit like 280. I think that's where he hits this year. You know, and everybody's going to look at him because this is his contract year. What happens in contract years with players?
They usually ball out.
They ball. So I think this is not necessarily the best mood. I think that the Phillies should have tried to work it out a little bit better. You know, I understand things aren't always great. They went ahead and they got this mediocre player who's he's not like the end all be all in right field. Like, yeah. It's like you didn't get somebody who over and away takes over right field from Castellanos.
See, the thing is, and that's why I said the Mariners is because I was looking at this, I had to look it up just to make sure that I was right. You know, batting average would be very similar. Offense production would be way higher if they made the move. Like, you don't necessarily have to dump Robles. Like, you could dump one of the other guys back to AAA or something. But this would actually be a solid move for Seattle because the batting average would be the same. Home run production is significantly higher. Robles only had one home run.
Well, and you have a little bit of a larger park, so it becomes a little bit of a liability there in that regard.
Even if he only had half as many as he hit, right? You said he had what, 25?
22. He averaged 22.
22. So say he only gets 10. That's still 9 more than.
Yeah, but you have to look at it the opposite way too. How much are you going to lose in defense because of the larger park? When you look at Seattle's park in comparison to Citizens Bank Park, right field has a certain more area in Seattle than it does in Philly, and that becomes a thought process. So maybe move him to left field. Is that the hardest thing in the world to do? Maybe not. You know what I mean? It could be a different way of doing that. But
and I mean, Robles admittedly is a good defender, so there is that.
And that's really what you want in right field. There's a tremendous amount more people batting left-handed and pulling left-handed. So you want to make sure that you have that field covered.
Yeah. You wouldn't move him to left though, because we have a Rosarina over there, and so you wouldn't move him out of his spot.
Right, or you'd have to have a very, very good center fielder who shades right. Yeah. And takes away and like 2 feet of space, like a strip of space.
We do have that in Julio. So, you have a ton of
J-Rod.
Exactly. So you have a ton of speed there. So you probably could do that. Potentially DH, right? Could do something like that.
I mean, that's probably worthwhile. You could have him out there as like a DH, or like when there's a right-handed lineup, like you could definitely probably move him out there and have him be very serviceable.
Well, and we don't have like great DH talent at the moment. So, I mean, you could do something like that where he's kind of in and out of the field, DHing sometime. Like you could do some of that.
But like I said, I think he's obviously going to be a worthwhile pickup. He's
For
going to
sure.
get paid $20 million not to play for the Phillies. And so, yeah, should Seattle give a call? If I was Seattle, I'd give a call. Uh, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to play for the Athletics, because that's a spot where I see that he could probably get like $4 or $5 million and make 25 million this year. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
thinking about this, when you're playing these games now, $3 million is better than a million. It
Yeah.
depends on where you want to live. Sacramento's warmer than Seattle. It's as boring as could be, but his son could own that whole ballpark. I don't know about the Athletics ownership, but I mean, his son owned Citizens Bank Park.
Yeah.
Like, every time he went up to bat, his son was down there at the fence line watching his dad.
Nice.
So there is part of that. There is some of that that's involved with this. You know what I
That's
mean?
true. Pirates could take a swing at him.
Uh, the Pirates just went and spent some money, and actually, the Pirates are going a little bit in this year. So maybe, I mean, it's a possibility, but I don't know who they have in right field there. Liam was great. Liam was a cool kid, and it's a shame that Noah isn't going to get to see some of this. Noah is starting to become of age. He's like able to run around and do some of this, so he could have went with his brother up there.
Hmm.
Um, you know, I mean, I was friends with his wife. I've hung with the kids a little bit. I mean, I knew his brother-in-law pretty well. They were always very good with the Philly sports guy, and that was always I always appreciated that. And like I said, he was one of my favorite players on this team.
Hmm.
So it's going to suck to lose him, but you know, life goes on. And I wish him the best. That being said, now I feel like that you have to find that guy who is going to give a spark. Otto's not even able to play right now, right? Isn't he on suspension? Like, I
Uh,
guess he's going to be in camp somewhere, but
yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking. He's going to be in camp, right?
yeah, he's got to be in camp, but he's like suspended for the first 80 games. I think. I mean, I'm pretty sure of that. Um, the Phillies themselves, like, as we're looking about baseball, I know it's way too early to start to think about this stuff, but uh, I have I hope that they can start to hit the ball. They need to start to hit the ball early and often. I want these guys swinging out of the boxes. Like, I want them to be ready to go, and I think, like I said, I gave very human reasons why Harper wasn't as good last year.
Yeah.
I thought that Harper, he just had another child. I think that child, I don't know anything about his home life, so this is all perception. But he had a good year, not a great year, and I think he only had a good year because he had a lot of responsibilities at home that I think took some precedence. Family is more important than every game that you're playing. And if that baby's a little colic, is up at night and can't sleep, something like that, I think that becomes, a real situation. And you're never going to use that. Like, well, my baby's not sleeping at night, so I'm having a hard time getting the rest I need so that I can be good for the next day. You're never going to say that.
Yeah.
But that's a real excuse.
No,
I
for
guess
sure.
a better excuse than most of them. You know what I mean? Um, so I think that's a little bit more helpful. Uh, Bryson Stott, same situation. Like, the baby's a little older now, so it's a little different. There, you don't. It's not as much responsibility on the mothers.
Mhm.
So that helps. And those are the things that I also heard a very interesting rumor, and it's only a rumor, but it's that the reason why they spent the money on JT is is that it's possible in the last year of his contract that he becomes player manager
Okay.
and that he may be the next manager of the Philadelphia Phillies.
Hmm. That'd be interesting.
And I'm very happy that Garrett Stubbs is back. I love Garrett. Love his dad. D-Pat is the man. Not that that really helps our team, but he's a good locker room guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking for Seattle to, you know, still try and add some offense. That's that's something I'd like to see. Um, again, the pitching's been great. Obviously, towards the second half of the season, they did add a couple of things, and that helped the offense out. But I think they still need one more bat.
Yeah, Stubbs definitely brings the life to the locker room. There's only so much that can do for me, though. I know they don't play him that often, and he had a really good season down in AAA, and he's not able to get optioned anymore. So he's going to have to either make this team or he's not going to be on the team. They can't send him down to AAA. Um, so I hope that he makes it. I hope that they give him the space. I hope they allow him to be able to play 28 games this year and that he can hit like 4 or 5 home runs because he was hitting home runs down in AAA
Yeah,
and he's older now. You know what I mean? He's ain't a young kid. Just got married and stuff like that. He's got a little bit of pop to him. His whole family plays. I mean, his brother plays for Washington.
I got you.
So, uh, yeah, Marshawn's just got some better tools in general. And that's a real thing. Um, but like I said, it's what you get from Stubbs is extra sauce. Like that's kind of how you look at it. It's like extra flavor on from the team itself. So he was like the jukebox hero of the team.
Yeah, and to be honest, Rob, that's the question: is who's out there, who's willing to deal. That's a question for sure. I don't have a solid answer for that. And position, you'd probably be bringing him in for DH, honestly, because I mean, we actually have decent production everywhere. Um, Unless he happens to be a right fielder, then again, I think Rob Lewis, if you can get a similar defenseman that has a little bit better bat, would be huge. I don't know if anybody's trying to get rid of that. So, you know, but
Yeah,
otherwise,
and
yeah, I mean, the roster's pretty solid overall.
yeah, and I feel like that you guys. I don't know who your batting coach is, but you guys have to have. And I think maybe you started to do this last year. Walks, getting the walks.
We did get more patient as the year went on. That
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
looking more for your pitch for sure.
So, and you guys made it to the ALCS
Yeah.
and lost. So,
Yeah, I mean, we took it the distance, but yeah.
and that was the 7 games in Toronto, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So it's like obviously you want to try to run it back with the same group of guys. You need a little bit of extra bat, and maybe that's where Castellanos really does come into play.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like if you can get him really cheap, you can move him into that DH position. Like that could work. That could work. We have a couple of batting coaches. Edgar Martinez is one of them, which I think is where some of that patience started to come in because he was a really patient hitter.
Yeah.
And then I had to look up who our other guy is. I knew there was a second one. Kevin Sitzer is also a batting coach alongside him. So, but that being said, who is a legitimate option? That's why I was thinking Castellanos could be that guy. I mean, we could upgrade at DH for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a DH. You need somebody. I don't know if Castellanos is the DH type of guy. He doesn't hit enough home runs, and I think that if you look at his home runs in comparison to that ballpark, it's not suited well. So my thought is that he would wind up with maybe 14 home runs rather than the 22.
That would still outpace our current people at DH. So, it's funny for whatever reason over the last few years, DH has been an issue for us. They've had bad batting averages, not a lot of home runs. And by definition, as a designated hitter, you would think there's one thing you're supposed to be pretty good at. And that's the thing they haven't been all that great at.
See, yeah, and I guess that's the hard part with trying to find somebody who's going to be able to fill into that role. I mean, the other problem that I see with the Phillies is that there's a log jam at certain positions, like third base. So we got Bohm at third base, but we got somebody in the minors ready to come up, and he's not going to be able to come up this year because Bohm is still there. And you can't move him to shortstop because we got Turner. And it's all right. So now we got a DH who's going to always be the DH. So you always got Harper at first base. You're never going to DH him unless Schwarber gets a little hurt. You're never going to put Schwarber out in left field because he's a liability out there. They have Marsh, who is still like, a week on, week off, week on, week off.
Mm-hmm.
You got a center fielder who is going to be okay. You got Bryson Stott, who is serviceable at second base, but I want to see his bat be a little bit better.
Yeah.
And so it's like you're still doing and then we got this guy in right field now who I know that we just got, and he's similar numbers, if not a little less than right now than Castellanos was. Mm-hmm. Maybe a little bit more patient at the plate, but that's what I need. I want some speed. I want somebody who can get on and run and steal. That's what I want.
Yeah. Well, especially the way the rules are today, right? Like the rules have shifted to bring steals back into the game. So yeah, having speed on the bag is huge.
Where's Ricky Henderson when you need him?
He would be eating it up right now.
Oh my Lord. He would. Imagine if Ricky Henderson was playing in this day and age.
That's what I mean. Like he would be absolutely killing it. You got the bags that are a little bit bigger. You got, you can only check a runner twice. And yeah. And I mean, and you're going to check him those 2 times because he's going to torch you. And so, yeah, no, he would be, he was insane anyway.
Right. And there was I think I saw a stat on him. It's great when I see stats like well after the fact that he led off an inning 728 times with a single.
Oh, I believe that.
It's like, wow, and there were even more times that he led off Like he's like the one guy who's got more go ahead home runs than anybody in baseball ever.
Hmm.
Because he would lead off with home runs too. Like he would have like if he hit a home run to lead off, then that would be a go ahead run.
Yeah.
If it was in the fourth inning and he was leading off that inning, or went up to bat, he hit a home run and it was 0-0. Well, that's a go ahead run. It's a go
Yeah.
ahead run. He has more go ahead home runs than anybody else ever in baseball, and that's
Hmm.
Ricky. Like he said, he would always talk about himself in the third person, which was even funnier.
Yeah.
Imagine the social media of Ricky Henderson today
Oh,
in
it'd be
this
amazing.
world. He would be incredible.
That would be amazing. Rob, I did see your question, way up at the top here. And of course, we weren't talking about baseball yet when you dropped it, but you were talking about the ABS system. And I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good. When they did implement it last year in preseason, postseason stuff, it worked well. So I expect that to be true during the regular season. Obviously, they still have to figure out exactly how they're going to use it, how much you're going to be able to use it. All of those things are a work in progress. But some of the calls were so bad that you kind of had to do it.
Yeah, and it's the bad. You think about it. Had there was one strike specifically that the Phillies had that was called a ball. That had they did the and
Yep.
it was called a strike, that the game would have been over. And it was in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So it could have knocked. It could have literally knocked out the Dodgers. And because it wasn't called, and it was, you can look it up. Actually, I think it was Christopher Sanchez, and I think that was. It was just like, wow, they didn't call it. It was dead in strike, didn't get called, and now it's one of those things that.
I mean, last year I created a short that's still on my YouTube here of the top 10 worst calls before the All-Star break. And one of them was like almost 18 inches off the plate. They called a strike. I mean, it was absolutely wild. And then just for good measure, I threw one in that was a ball that was like center. Like it was as middle as you could get. Ball. So
And then I watched one of those where it was, and they kicked the pitcher out for arguing it because
that's
the umpire wasn't paying attention. There was a throw to second base, and he called it a ball. He's like, but it was dead down the center. He's
yeah.
like, and then because I know John Boy did the F you, no F you, get back on the mound. I'll call the balls and strikes. You pitch the ball, like blah blah blah. Blah. It was.
Yep. John Boy is hilarious. For anybody that hasn't watched him, you have to go check his stuff out. He is hilarious.
He is,
and he's pretty on point with it.
Yeah, I like it how he gives the commentary about like when they switch it over to a fan. And he's like, "That's right."
Exactly. Yeah, I mean he's lip reading every single thing the camera hits, so it's pretty entertaining.
So I mean, those are the. So I'm happy that they're actually having this in here. It can't be like one an inning. We're only going to use it one time and that's it. It's going to have to be regulated to a certain extent. I think it should be. I think it could be a 3 strikes you're out type situation where, hey, you do it and one time, you do it a second time, and you fail throughout the game, but you get 3 strikes. So it's like if you do it and you want it to be a strike and it's a ball, there's your first strike. You could do it in one at bat and lose all that at bat, or you could do it throughout the entire game. But once you do a third strike and you get it wrong, you don't get the opportunity to call it anymore.
I wonder if it should be expanded because of that one that was down the middle, right? Because as it sits right now, it can only be challenged by the batter.
No.
I thought it could only be charged. So the pitcher can challenge.
Catcher can.
Oh, the catcher. Okay. See, I thought only the batter could, because I was like, man, that one that was middle, you'd want the you'd want your your defensive players to be like, hey, like that was a strike, man.
Yeah, so the catcher can do it. Now the pitcher can tell him to, hey, touch, do the tap. But the pitcher cannot call it. The catcher's got to call it, and the batter can call it. So, and the harder part about that is like, listen, close calls are close calls.
For sure.
And the harder part about that is that where did they set this up? So right now it's the middle of the plate. So, which makes me think that if it's the middle of the plate, is it closer to the back square corners where there's just the triangle portions, the back? Is it actually dead middle of the plate where it's?
I believe it actually has all corners of the plate. I believe there's multiple cameras that are viewing this.
No, but it's only a 2-dimensional spot, not a 3-dimensional. At least that's how it was explained last year.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look, because I thought it was supposed to be. I thought it was supposed to cover the entire plate.
If you go on Instagram or Facebook and you put in Jom, not John, Jom, Jom, boy, yep. or lip reading videos.
Yeah. He's easy to find. He has a lot of content.
Yeah, they're like a news agency.
Yeah.
Too, so.
Well, especially now that he got sponsored and everything, like he puts out an incredible amount of content.
Yeah. He's like always on SeatGeek and stuff like that. SeatGeek is one of his sponsors. And
yeah.
So, but yeah, he does great content. But
John Boy, you're welcome. We just did a promo for you.
There you go. Just make sure you keep watching us and don't just switch over to him.
Yeah, right. Man. So we did have one funny thing that I didn't have the video primed for from the parade. And of course, that is the Ernest Jones speech. Ernest Jones has been a huge Sam Darnold supporter. And so he expanded on that for the trophy presentation. And so let's go ahead and play that real quick.
I'm gonna keep it a book. I'm probably the last person that should have gave the mic to. The people that turned up, man. First off, I want to say shout out to Jody Allen, shout out to John Snyder for making this all possible, and shout out to Coach Mike McDonald for helping us get to this point. But also, shout out to these badass motherfuckers who take the game. My quarterback, you got anything to say for my defense, you got anything to say for our O-line, and you got anything to say about the city of Seattle, I got 2 words for you. Fuck you!
So it was funny, and I was like, okay, we'll share that one. So
well, and it's good that he prepped everybody by saying, hey, I'm about to curse.
Exactly.
I'm about to curse. Yep. I don't want to get you guys all fined, but I'm about to curse. It's coming right now. F you.
No, it's, it was funny because it was nice that he did that, right? Because like, obviously this is on YouTube, so we can share it. But like on my Wednesday show, I can't play this clip.
Right. Yeah. So not without being like beep,
Exactly. Yeah.
But it is good that he did that, and like I said, it protects everybody there because I remember the first time, like when the Phillies won the World Series, and I'm listening to it on the radio because I couldn't get in the stadium,
Mhm.
like for the award ceremony.
Yeah.
We were just outside the stadium, and we're listening to it on 1060, and Chase Utley goes, "World champions, world effing champions," and the other people from 1060 and all the news sources says, "Yeah,
Oh,
that's live. That went live. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
That's a $10,000 fine. Thanks, man.
appreciate it." Where he's like, "Hey, this is what we're gonna do. This is but he did call him a badass MFer too. So that's
He did. But I mean, he prefaced his whole thing with this. I'm probably the last person they should have gave the mic to. So, I mean, at that point, if you were ever going to implement a delay, because he had said something like that before, you'd be like, oh, let me just give myself a 3-second delay here so that we can implement the little beeps because they're coming.
right.
But
And Joe, I can't tell you anything about the Astros. You got to wait for Jay.
yeah,
Yeah, I know that the Astros stink. PU.
yeah. I mean, they are making some moves, so we'll kind of see how they play out. But yeah,
And we might as well finish on this, just because I happened to mention it and I saw it as LeBron James. LeBron James. He never gets enough love on this show.
and he still won't.
Yeah, exactly. LeBron James became the oldest basketball player ever to get a triple-double.
Yep.
28 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists. Congratulations, LeBron. He took the award away from Karl Malone. Karl Malone was 40 years old in 128 days. LeBron is 41 years old in 44 days.
All right.
So now he's the oldest man to ever do a triple-double. Good for him. Yay, LeBron.
Did they win? That's the question. Did he do this in a losing effort?
You know what? I didn't even check that part. Let me see if he did.
Because that's what it seems like it would be. If he got a triple-double, that makes me think the team didn't do that great.
No, they won. They were playing against Dallas, who stinks out loud now. So
Oh, gotcha.
the Mavericks are PU.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like that, and damn. All right, that's very interesting. That there's been I've been talking to. Remember, I keep mentioning about my system, that my system worked so good a couple years ago.
Mm.
I tell you, that system now for basketball sucks. Don't use it. Do
Yeah.
not use it. The Milwaukee Bucks went up against OKC Thunder.
Yep.
And it was one of those, it falls into the system. Hey, it doesn't matter if, Milwaukee played yesterday, back-to-back games.
Yep.
They crushed Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
What's going on? Also the Utah Jazz fell into that same, and then the Trailblazers did it. The Trailblazers were able to make that occur. But yeah, OKC should have smoked Milwaukee, and they did not. And it was a 13.5-point spread. So if you add Milwaukee on the money line, you were going to make a lot of money.
Sure.
I'm sure that was like a plus 700.
Yeah, I mean, if the line was that big, absolutely.
Yeah, 13.5. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a plus 500 at a minimum.
So, but yeah, so do not use my system for basketball right now because it's not literally like I did it. I was checking it the other day, and there was 3 games that fell into that, and 2 of the 3 games blew it.
I mean,
So
yeah. Save your money.
So, yeah, exactly. Do not bet on that system. That system is not a very good system right now.
Speaking of not a good system, Seattle Storm just sent me their it's 2 days ago now, but they just sent me their preseason dates. I hope we have a team to put on the court because they still haven't figured their contract dispute out. And so here in Seattle, the 29th, April 29th will be the first home preseason game, which could be interesting because it'll be against the expansion Fire for Portland. But we don't know if we're going to have players. So we're getting awfully close to the beginning of the season here to still have no real movement as far as this contract's concerned. And to make it even worse, it doesn't sound like they're even hardly talking anymore. So,
yeah, that's well, and unfortunately, so what's going to happen is that it's going to kill this league.
oh yeah, especially with the other startups that are doing fine and they're making more money. So, I mean, like I've said numerous times, WNBA has wildly overplayed their hand here. They need to support the people that are making this happen. And I understand the owners don't want to share the money that's finally coming in, but it's only going to come in if people are playing basketball. I mean, all of a sudden you might be putting that TV contract in some hot water, right? Like that's an 11-year, $2.2 billion deal that, if you don't have a product to put on the floor, they may want to be like, hey, you know what? Breach a contract, go throw their money at these other 2 leagues that are doing well. Unrivaled is doing well. Project B is doing well. So like, if you're this, these TV companies that are like, hey, if you guys aren't going to put something on, that's a breach of contract. We want to walk out of this thing. We'll go support this other stuff that's getting views, that's making money.
And what is that? Unrivaled's 3-on-3, right?
It is. Yep. Project B is 5-on-5.
Got you. So it's a shame. Because the other thing about that is that, I mean, Philadelphia just put up $500 million, where, like, if it was a year ago or 2 years ago, it would only been $100 million or $25 million. Now it's $500 million that they put in, and come to find out that it's like, where'd that money go? And are they going to get that money back?
No. It's going to be like when the city does some bad planning and they put it on your vehicle tabs. You're like, but we didn't even do the thing. They're like, but we thought about it. And so we spent money that now you have to pay back. So that's pretty much the thing there. It's like, oh, we took your money. Well, sorry about your luck.
You bet on black and it came up red.
Exactly. Yeah. It was heads or tails. That thing landed on its side. I don't even know what to tell you.
Yeah, that's right. You chose red or black, and it came up 0.
The ball left the table. Yeah. No, it's interesting because you're still getting all this communication from the teams. But I don't know what they're playing. Are you gonna have Scabs come in and play in place? What are you gonna do?
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, but they got to come up with something quick.
They do. They're only 2 months out. So, going to be crazy. That being said, that does get us to the top of the hour. Be sure to like and subscribe. Helps us bring our stuff to you. And, of course, other than that, we will see y'all next week. And, enjoy the Friday the 13th. Whether you think it's lucky or cursed, should be fun.
Have a good weekend. Peace.